giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby, and twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak just my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're channeling wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, 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 oh,
Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, I'm super glad I have finally convinced you to click on one of my videos. If you've been here before, I'm really glad that you keep coming back. And no matter what, I appreciate each and every one of you, whether this is your first view or your 622nd view on my channel. I appreciate you all. I also appreciate everyone that subscribes and all that other, like, you know, lame YouTube stuff. So now we got that out the way. And with that out of the way, I hope you've grabbed some chips, some tacos, popcorn, I guess whatever you feel like eating today. Maybe you want some jambalaya. If you don't know jambalayas, that's some good stuff. Look it up. Isaac Toops does a great tutorial video on how to make jambalaya. But cooking is a whole different topic for a whole different time. We got a long video ahead of us, and as you can see, we are looking at a totally different aircraft than pretty much what's ever been on the channel. This is the PMDG Boeing 737-800 in the Alaska Air, alaskaair.com livery, which this is my favorite livery that Alaska Airlines had, which is why we're flying it today. And if you want to know more about this mod, the airport I'm using, any of the airports I use, just any of my modifications in any of my videos, scroll down to the description box. You're going to have to click read more, scroll way past the probably 600 timestamps that are in there for this video. And then you'll see my mods broken down by what's payware and by what's freeware. And I usually put a link, that way if you want to use one of these mods, you know where to find it. And for this flight today, we're going to be completing Alaska Airlines Flight 65, which is part of the Milk Run. It's one of, I want to say, 4 different Milk Run flights that go south to north. Actually, there might be 3. I can't remember. But it's one of the Milk Run flights that goes from Seattle to Anchorage. And Flight 65 goes from Seattle to Ketchikan, from Ketchikan to Wrangell, Wrangell to Petersburg, Petersburg, Juneau, Juneau, Anchorage. So we will most likely be filming this over a couple days. It's currently 10:30 at night my time, so we'll see how far we get today. It'll probably get broken up. But anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And hopefully we won't have any technical issues. This is my second time filming this Milk Run, from the start to the finish. If you've seen my New Zealand Christchurch airport review, which also I reviewed the new Orbix Microsoft Flight Sim DHC4 Caribou, which I'll link up in the top right hand corner, you've already experienced what those technical issues were. After doing some searching on the interwebs, and thanks to one of you guys that commented in the comments, I believe I have resolved my issues. But we will not know until we get flying. So let's go ahead, hop in the airplane. I'm going to time accelerate through the boring stuff, and I'll talk to you guys when we start doing something a lot more exciting than typing things into a computer. Okay, so we have the airplane all configured, so we are ready for pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
I do apologize if the frame rates are a little bit weird here at Seattle. This airport apparently doesn't like my computer, which, excitingly, I'm in the process of building a new one. I'm ordering 1 part per paycheck, so it's going to take several months, but we'll get there. I actually just ordered the motherboard here when I got paid on, what would that been, Friday? So yesterday? Which, if you have not heard of the Pushback toolbar, this is one of my favorite mods for the game. I don't really want to buy GSX because I won't use it a whole lot. So
Okay,
this
sir.
pushback
Bypass
toolbar
pin
is great
installed.
for me.
All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Just know if you do
Parking
have
brake
the
set. Lifting the aircraft.
Phoenix Airbus A320, you cannot have the pushback toolbar. It interferes with something with the aircraft.
We are
Not sure
cleared
what
for start
exactly
and
it
push.
interferes with.
Okay, cleared for push start.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines.
Then
in sequence.
AIG traffic's being
It
a
will
little
start in the
weird.
sequence.
Just keep switching aircraft out. So once we get clear from the gate area, we'll go ahead and fire up our engines, which we're going to start number 2 first. I think we're far enough away from the gate, so we're going to go ahead and move the... Oh, we got to turn... PAKs are already off. Cool. Got to turn the number 2 to ground. Then what we're looking for is on the the N2 gauge right here. We're looking for that to say 20, then we can introduce fuel, which there's 14, 16, 18, and 20. And then if you read the checklist, it says you don't watch it, make sure it stabilizes. I'm not too knowledgeable on these aircraft, so what I do is I wait for this to flip back into auto and pretty much make sure we don't get any alarms that the engine's on fire. That is as far as my depth of knowledge on these big airliners go, so that's what we're going to wait for. So far it's sounding pretty good. Let's see. Oh, I did not adjust this. Let's bump that up to 365 and I want to say 50 will do us. Alright, so to reset, that looks pretty stable to me.
Completed. Please set your parking brake.
Gotta hold down the brakes and come on. There we go.
Parking brakes set.
So we'll wait for them to
Parking brake set.
disconnect and then we'll
Rolling
start number
aircraft.
1. I love the fact it actually raises the nose of the
Ground.
aircraft.
You may disconnect.
We'll get rid of
Okay,
that.
sir. Cleared to disconnect. Pin has been removed. See you at the side. Have a
And
good
there
flight.
they go. So we're going to go ahead and go
Holding position
ground
waiting for
for
the
number
visual.
1.
Thank you and goodbye.
So there's our N2 rising up through 5. There's 10, 12, 15, 18. Now I'll get ready to come down here. There's 20, so we'll give number 1 fuel. And now while it does that, we'll go through just a little bit of our stuff. Let's shimmy over real quick, make sure yaw damp's on, which it is off. Let's make sure that stays in the on position. Looks like it will. So looking over here, all that looks good. We have our taxi light off for right now. That's waiting for our engine to fire up and to get online. Switch the generators over. And that reset. Leave taxi light off still. No. We'll leave those on for now. Just going through all of our switches here, make sure we don't forget anything. Let's get our probe heats on. I don't think we'll need anti-icing. We'll leave those off for now. We can adjust that in flight if we need to. So coming in here, let's go ahead and get the PAKs down to auto. APU bleed off. Isolation can come online. And then let's go ahead and kill the APU. Get the taxi lights turned on. Logo lights can stay off. Everything else looks good. Now I'll bring... Well, actually, first we'll get our brakes off. And we need to check our flight controls. We got pull back on the yoke, pull forward on the yoke, pull left rudder, pull right rudder, pull left, and full right. So that's good. Go ahead, bring that down into RTO. Flight directors are on. We'll arm the auto throttle, the VNAV, and the LNAV. With that, we're going to go ahead and taxi on out to the runway. Okay, so here we are down at runway 16 left, and we are ready for takeoff. It's a little odd that there's no other aircraft moving around Seattle. I double-checked little nav map, and there are other aircraft airborne, just they're not here for whatever reason. That's okay, we don't use air traffic control in the game anyway. We are the air traffic control. So we're going to flip our transponder onto TARA. Get the landing lights to pulse, because that's my favorite. We'll turn the taxi lights to off. And we're going to bring the position lights onto strobe and steady. And looking over the rest of the aircraft, that should be everything. We did set flaps 5 during taxi, because we forgot to do it before we started rolling. Don't see anyone coming in on final. We do have auto throttle armed, plus VNAV and LNAV. Both flight directors are on. So we should be ready for takeoff. Then this first leg and our last leg, I'm going to stay fairly silent. I'll do most of my talking on the middle 3 legs. So if you think I'm being a little quiet, it's by design. Those middle 3 legs will be spending a lot of time together. Because they're so short, we probably won't even bother stopping the video too much. So now that we are lined up here on runway 16, we'll just straighten out. Then we'll hit the brakes. Spool the engines up to roughly 40%, make sure they stabilize. They are stable, so we'll go ahead, arm the auto throttle into toga, and now we start rolling.
Your speed's alive. Getting knots.
V1.
Rotate. E2. Positive rate of climb.
Wasn't our best takeoff. That's okay. There definitely could be worse. Go ahead, get the autopilot on. And then as we climb out of here, I'm going to let you guys sit back, relax, and enjoy the views. Okay, everyone, so we are on our final approach into Ketchikan, which is right there in front of us. Momentarily, we'll go ahead and kick the autopilot off since we do have a visual on the runway. I'll just let everything kind of stabilize for a second. And now prepare to hear the airplane yelling at us. Then there we go. So now we'll go ahead and fly it visual. Oh my gosh, words are hard. Visually, since we do have the runway in sight, it's just below that -5 on the HUD. Go ahead, start a little bit of a steeper descent because we are a bit high to clear terrain. Try and maintain that VREF speed of 142 on this descent as well. There's the runway lighting. Still right below the -5. I think we'll drift just a hair to the right. I hope you guys enjoyed those views on departure and on arrival. Super pretty area. I'm hoping the weather improves a little bit for the next couple legs of our flight, which will be from Ketchikan to Wrangell. The one I'm really hoping the weather improves for is Wrangell to Petersburg, because if the wind's blowing right and we can actually fly visually, it's maybe a 10 to 15 minute flight. We'll get up to about 4,000 feet and then pretty much be on our approach into land in Petersburg. It's really fun to hand fly this 7.3 on such a short flight. And now we're getting a little bit of turbulence. Keep trying to slow the aircraft up as we keep dropping. We'll probably get a sink rate warning in a second. And we do have a bit of a tailwind. We'll make it work. So there's 1,000. We're coming in a little bit fast.
Sink rate.
Yep, saw that coming.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate.
Yep, I'm aware. Thank you.
Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate. Sink rate.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Pretty decent landing. Now we'll go reverse. Oh, I hit the wrong button there. I meant to hit. There we go. That's better. Some back pressure. Yep, instead of hitting the button to bring the throttles down into reverse, I hit the button to bring them forward. That will make a huge difference when you're trying to stop. Which hopefully, how hot do we get those brakes? Hopefully not too hot. Okay, they're still on the white, that's good. Go ahead and get off the runway so we'll get our, there we go, let's not turn too sharp. Get our APU turned on, taxi lights on, landing lights can go off. Then also get our strobes off. Let the flight attendants know to start preparing the cabin for everyone to get off the aircraft. Go ahead and drop that so we can see. And let's start cleaning up the airplane. So auto brakes can go to off. We can drop that spoiler back down. And let's click the flaps what feels like 100 times to get all 40 degrees back up into the retracted position. And we can get rid of this HUD. If anyone here has ever been to Ketchikan, is it really set up to where we're pretty much going to this little bowl to get to the terminal and the airport sits up, I don't know, would they be maybe 50 to 100 feet above the terminal? Is it like that in real life? I'd be very interested to know if that's accurate. Wasn't our best approach, but we made it, for the most part, without too many mistakes. Hopefully, when we get into Wrangell and Petersburg and Juneau, we can make this a lot better. I'm super excited for the approach into Juneau, because if we land on runway 8, it's actually kind of cool how you got to come in at an angle and then actually land it for final. So I think the next couple legs will be a lot of fun. The Juneau to Anchorage leg I've never done before, so that'll be a brand new experience for all of us. And overall, I hope you guys are enjoying this little series, and I think you'll really enjoy the next part that's coming. But now as we get into the terminal, let's hope that they actually got a little guy out there to marshal us, and otherwise we'll have to just figure it out. First, we need to get slowing down this hill. Okay, come on, where's our little guy? Is he not there? Oh, I don't see him. Where's our marshaller guy? I don't see one at all. Well, we will just have to figure it out. That's weird, because all the ground equipment's here. I wonder where the guy is. Maybe that's him walking over? Realize he's not doing his job? Well, we will figure it out. Oh, of course he's gonna walk right in front of to where our engine needs to go. That's Microsoft Flight Sim for you. And just keep coming right at us. That seems intelligent. And we're a little bit to the left. Alright, so we're gonna have to guess this based on where that tug's at. And where this jet bridge is. We're gonna go off the jet bridge. That's gonna be easier for me to try and figure out. Okay. Went that door, edge of that jet bridge just barely behind our window. Let's give just a little bit more power. And the jet bridge is automatically connecting. That's interesting. I've never seen it do that before. So parking brake is on. We're at the gate. Let's get swapped over to the APU gens. And let's kill the engines. Leave the beacon light on until it spools. APU bleed. Isolation goes to open, and we'll turn the PAKs off. Probes are off. On. We don't need our de-icing anymore. And since we're going to be parked here for a little bit, we'll go ahead and get these electric hydraulic pumps off as well. Turn the seatbelt sign to off. And beacon lights off. Fuel pumps, we'll get all of them killed except for the one running our APU. Let's close that out and make sure all of our ground equipment is in place. Hello everyone, we are on the ground in Ketchikan in the Boeing PMDG 737-800. This is day number 2 of filming as we take Alaska Airlines Flight 65 from Seattle to Anchorage, with stops in Ketchikan, Wrangell, Petersburg, and Juneau. The ground crew is just loading up all of the bags, so we're going to go ahead, hop in the aircraft. I'm going to time accelerate through setting everything up, so that way we can start flying, because we got a lot of stops today. Okay, everyone, so we have the aircraft configured, and we are ready for pushback. So let's get pushback
Cockpit to
toolbar
ground.
going.
This is ground. Stand by.
Which I can't remember if I said this in the first video, but if you don't want to spend the money on GSX, but you want like a pushback tug, I highly recommend the pushback toolbar. It is a great modification, but it does not work with the Phoenix A320. So if you're hoping to use it with that, just know you can't. They don't agree with each other at all. And let's see if it'll lift the nose up today. That's one of my favorite things when the nose lifts up.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
And there it is. I love it when it lifts the nose up. I don't know why.
We are cleared for start and
Let's make
push.
sure we got those chocks removed. Yep.
Okay,
Sure did.
cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in
Packs
sequence.
are off, so number
will start
2
in the
can go
sequence.
to ground. I forgot to wait till we cleared the ramp area. Sorry, rampers. Alright, so N2 is coming up through 4, 8, 10, 12. There's 15, 17 and a half, 19, so 20 should be up by the time we kick that on. There's 22. So that is good to go. It looks like it's going to be a nice day. So far, after checking the METARs, looks like Wrangell actually has the worst weather out of any of the airports. Looking on a little nav map, Ketchikan was shown marginal VFR because of visibility and light snow. Wrangell was also showing marginal VFR, but the ceiling was lower than Ketchikan. The ceiling was lower, and I believe visibility was a little bit lower as well. The main one I was concerned about is Petersburg. And Petersburg is actually showing VFR and I believe 7 or 8 miles of visibility, which is great. And then Juneau is showing a little bit worse than Petersburg. So after this first leg, it should be pretty smooth sailing. I'm going to try and get us all the way up to Anchorage tonight, but it's going to really depend on what time it is by the time we get to Juneau. And we should be stopping here in a
Okay,
second.
pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Parking brakes set.
Parking brake set.
One
Lowering aircraft.
of the things I like about the PMDG 737 is the fact you actually have to hold the brakes down
Ground.
to
You may
engage the
disconnect.
parking brake.
Okay, sir.
Just
Cleared
something
to
really
disconnect.
small,
Pin has
but I
been
like the
removed.
fact they
See
did
you
it.
at the side. Have a good flight.
Alright, and they are
Hold in
leaving, so
position
we'll go ahead
waiting
and
for
start
the
number
visual.
1.
Thank you and goodbye.
So number 1's coming up. There's our N2 rising. There's 2, 5, 10, 12 and a half, 15, 17 and a half, 19, and by the time we get down here and click that on, we'll be above 20. There's 22 and a half. So now we'll wait for that to start. And with that starting up, we'll go ahead and drop in flaps 5. So 1, 2, 5. That is set. Speed brakes are down. And one thing we need to do is jump over here. I always forget it because the HUD's in the way. Yaw damp. We want that on. Let's make sure it stays on. And it looks like it is, so we'll pop back into the flying seat. Alright, so that resets, so we'll go ahead and turn on our engine-driven generators. Get the APU bleed killed, and kill the APU. Packs can go to auto, isolation can go auto. And we need to get our probe heats on. Just because of how low those clouds are, and it is calling for light snow, we'll turn on our anti-icing for takeoff. And we'll verify that's still on when we get down to the runway. Let's let the flight attendants know we're getting ready to rock and roll. Taxi lights are on. Everything else should be good as is. Now let's get our parking brake off. Give it just a touch of throttle to get rolling. And while we wait to roll, we'll arm auto throttle, VNAV, and LNAV. And now that we're moving, we'll set our auto brakes to RTO. And we'll drop the hood. Somewhere. There it is. So here we are, lined up at runway 11, and we are ready for takeoff. No one's called in to the Ketchikan radio that they are going to be landing, and we cannot see anyone on final. So we're going to go ahead and roll out onto the runway. We have our lights on. Transponder is set to TARA. And actually we want that on still. Auto throttle is armed, VNAV and LNAV are as well, and we still have our anti-icing on as well. So we'll just do a real quick hit of the magic B button to ensure that altimeter is correct, which it is. And rolling out, we have identified the runway as runway 11. We need to get slowed down just a little bit so we can make this turn a bit sharper. There we go. We might be a little crooked on takeoff, but I don't want to eat up too much runway just by trying to get perfectly straight. So that'll be good enough. So I'll hold down the brakes. Throttle up to 40%. Engines are stable and toga.
Airspeed alive. 80 knots.
V1.
Rotate. V2. Positive rate of climb.
Okay, so we are on our way into Wrangell, and it's gonna be a little soupy. We're gonna go ahead and take autopilot off and see if we can get lower to get a better visual on where we want to be. Bring our speed up just a little bit, drop down. We are at an 8-degree offset from the runway to avoid this terrain on our left. So we're going to come down. We were following the charts. I'm pretty sure we'd already be doing the go-around. Yeah, we'd already be doing the go-around if we were actually following the instrument charts. We're going to try and take this in manually. I just feel like if we could drop a little bit of altitude, we'd be able to see where we want to land. So I would like to take us down to about 1500 and see if we can't get a good visual. It's fairly soupy though, that's for sure. Which I'm not seeing nothing. Oh wait, I see a tree. Okay, it's coming through the clouds now. I see it. See it there right off of our nose. You get some speed. Get your speed reduced. Right at the last minute, finally got it in sight. Yeah, it is not nice weather. I'm also not used to flying with a HUD. I almost think it's more of an inconvenience than it is nice to have at this point. I'm really not used to flying with one. Alright, let's not go full throttle this time. Let's make sure we get it in reverse. Which we did. We'll bring the auto throttle down to a 1. We'll go ahead and kill the reverse. I'll take auto braking off and we'll do it manually because we're coming to the end where we need to flip around. It looked like there was an Alaska jet already here, which I don't know where we are going to park then if that Alaska jet's there. Through the magic of editing, we might just have to kick it out of its spot. We'll see if it moves before we get up there. Get our flaps brought up. Now I'm going to taxi us in to the gate. Okay, so through some magic, I went ahead and made that other Alaska jet disappear. All we did was turn off AIG traffic, which means we'll have to turn it back on for when we go into Juneau, but that gets that other Alaska jet out of our way. Which would be nice if I had the little marshalers over here. I don't know where our marshaler guys went, but we haven't had them for a while now. And, you know, they're actually kind of nice to have. So we'll just do a little bit of guesswork here like we did going into Ketchikan. and just kind of guess where we need to stop. Hopefully it's right. Worst case, it's wrong. Let's see, this should get us fairly well centered. And we want our nose wheel to be right about the start of that diamond, which the nose wheel sits behind us. Let's take it nice and slow. Start of the diamond's about there at the knee board. And we'll stop it right about there. That'll be good enough for me. I don't want to get too close to the terminal, that way we can't get out of here. So let's go ahead and switch our generators over to the APU. And now we'll kill the engines. Flip the seatbelt sign to auto. Attendants will make sure everyone rushes out of the door accordingly. PAKT can go to off, isolation valve to open, APU bleed on. And our probes are off. We'll go ahead and turn the anti-ice off as well. Anti-collision can go off now. And turn the fasten seatbelt signs off, as we need to let the ground crew know that we are here. I'm going to time accelerate through this because this is going to be the boring part. Okay, so we have everything all set up and we are ready to rock and roll out of here. So we're going to get the cabin doors closed. Come in here, get that first staircase released, and we'll verify that they close that door. It says closing. Go ahead and get the seatbelt sign turned on. The flight attendants know we're about to start the aircraft. Beacon on. We're going to wave at that ground crew guy on the belt loader, let him know we are ready to fire up. Everything else is looking good, so we'll go ahead and go ground on number 2. Looking at our N2 gauge again, we're rising through 1. There's 5. 10. 15. 17 and a half. 19. It'll be 20 before we get down here. And we're at 22 and a half when we looked up. That's firing up, no problems. I guess I need to set up my autopilot still, which we can do while we wait for that engine to start. The cruise, we're looking at 14,000 feet again. I wish the weather was better, but we're having this snowstorm down here. This is a really fun flight to hand fly between Wrangell and Petersburg, and it's super short. Unfortunately though, we're going to have to go the long way because of the weather. So we will make it work. It's not the end of the world. Number 1 is started. So we'll let the ground crew guy know we are starting number 1 now. Go to ground. Watching that N2, it is alive. It is going through 1, 4, 8, there's 10, 15, 17 and a half, 19. We want to wait till 20, which it's at 22 and a half by the time we looked up, so we are good. Now while that fires up, let's just go over everything. Let's make sure that yaw damper did not flip itself off. It is showing in the on position, so we'll Hop back into our seat. Let that engine keep starting. Let's see, let's go back in, look at our takeoff speeds again. We're at 142, so let's dial that into 162. Course for our takeoff should be 116 if I remember right. Yeah, that'll be good enough. But we're going to want to program this into a 249. And then number 1 is started, so let's go ahead and flip our generators on. Go ahead, get rid of the APU bleed. Flip our PAKT to auto. Isolation to auto. And APU off. Which we already did, so right down there. So all that's good to go. Now I want to give it flap 5, so 1, 2, and 5. We forgot to check our flight controls last time, so let's do that now. So full left, full right, or full rear, full forward, full left, and full right. So, I don't know why that's going off, but okay. So there we go, that is good. Let's get our taxi light on so that all the guys on the ramp know we're good to go. Let's make sure our pressurization is set for Petersburg, which landing altitude is 113, so we'll flip that up to 100. Let's get the HUD down. Maybe. There we go. Release the brakes and make the very long taxi out to the runway. It's quite lengthy. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get there in a timely manner. We forgot to pull chocks again. Not the first time I have done that. Ground services, chocks removed. Going to watch our wingtip as we come away from the building here. You know, I guess it's better to run over chocks than it is to run over the ground crew, which in a lot of these videos I can't get the rampers to move out my way, so we end up running them over. But good thing they're virtual people, they'll just respawn. You know, it's like Call of Duty, right? Alright, and so we are working our way over to the runway, so we'll let the flight attendants know that we are ready for takeoff. We'll hit the button, everything's flipped down into on. Turn-offs go on. Because of the clouds, we're not going to put that in pulse, we'll leave it in on. Strobes can go to on as well. And we never took that off TARA, so it is in. Logo lights can stay on, that's fine. Flaps 5, RTO. Speed brakes are disarmed. Put that into map. Let's make that a lot closer. And now we can roll out onto the runway. Go ahead, hit auto throttle, VNAV, and LNAV. Which will kick a little bit to the left here, and then make a hard right because we want to save as much runway as we can, because we would like to use as much of it as possible. Let's get nice and slow here so we can make a nice sharp turn. Then I didn't see the numbers, but we'll verify with our heading that we are on runway 10. Yep, the heading looks correct for runway 10 departure. So now I'm just going to flip this over to legs. Going to bring our engines up to roughly 40%, wait for them to stabilize. They are stable. Now we'll go toga. Let them spool up for a second and release the brakes. Which we are going to hand fly this for a little bit just to get us out of here.
80 knots.
V1.
positive rate of climb.
Alright, and we are climbing out of Wrangell. The weather is not so nice. I did double check the METAR over for Petersburg, and we should be able to get in. There's Wrangell. We can just barely see that airport beacon through the cloud. There's the runway. It's kind of a cool view, actually. I'm going to get a picture of that. That's kind of cool. And of course, we start going through a cloud as to try and get that picture. But checking the METAR again for, that's Wrangell, if I can find the right one, for Petersburg, it's showing winds are 060 at 6, 9 miles visibility, light snow, overcast at 3,400. So we're going to try our darndest to get in. If we can't, I guess we'll have to divert to Juneau, which we will figure out in the hold. Which I'm not very experienced with this aircraft, so that'll be a fun one if we got to learn how to enter everything into the FMC for a diversion in the middle of a hold. That would be something new I've never done before. So we'll see how well I mess it up. I really wish I could have just done the visual in, but the weather did not want to cooperate, because it is a super fun flight to do. Maybe I'll have to redo it sometime when the weather's actually nice and make a whole separate video. It'll be really short, really to the point. Oh, you know what? I could do it in the Caribou. That'd be kind of fun. Go ahead and get our landing lights off because we're above 10. Turn off those lights as well. Let the flight attendants know we're above 10,000. And we should have turned on our icing. Oops, my bad. And our probes. You know, we did all that. That was there before we left and flew through those clouds. No one will know, right? No one will know unless we tell them. One of the things I do like about this airplane is these nice yellow sunshades. They're really nice for like in Ketchikan, where there's all that snow and it's kind of making us snow blind. We can put them in, and you can actually see a little bit better through them. So we're going to head on out, and since this is now a much longer leg, I'm going to let you guys enjoy the weather and enjoy the flight, and I will talk to you guys as we get ready to land in Petersburg. So we are finally breaking through the clouds here as we try and get into Petersburg. We're going to have to try and get a visual here pretty soon. I think roughly 5 miles. We might do what we did in Wrangell and cut it a little close. Since it is a sim, we might go ahead and just take it way past the visual requirement for the RNAV approach. I'm liking the fact we can kind of see the ground. That's positive. When we get to Tukad, I believe it'd be pronounced, or maybe Tukad. However that waypoint is pronounced. We'll go ahead and follow this ridge line until we can get lined up with the runway, because we have quite the offset for runway 23. We're flying a heading of 163 and the runway is runway 23. So do quite the offset, so we will try and break it apart that way. I think for now, just because this HUD throws me off, I'm going to kill it for a minute. That way I can try and see where we are. Which, did this give me an extended center line? It did. Okay, perfect. So I'm liking the fact we're starting to see the ground. That's really positive. I think we'll be able to get into Petersburg. And if we can get in, we can definitely get out. So I'm liking our odds here, which means we're going to go ahead and take it visual from here. And I will also take control of the throttle. I'll bring my HUD back just because it is convenient at times. As much as I sometimes dislike it, it can actually be really convenient, which let's dim it down. That way I can see better. We got our auto brake and speed brake set up. And there's Tukad, or Tukad, however it's pronounced. Oh, not flight director. Kill that. Auto throttle can go as well. Take the warning, and now let's go ahead and fly this puppy in. So we're going to brake to the left to follow the ridge line down to the extended center line. I'm used to doing this style of approach because that is how I've done it the handful of times I've hand flown this leg. Is intercepted the extended visual about 5 miles out, which is pretty much right along the ridge. I've never done it from this direction though, so it's going to be a little different as we're coming in from the north versus the south. Which the extended center line should be pretty close to right here. So that's usually what I've been using as my visual reference. So go ahead, get slowed up a little bit more, because I want to drop flaps 15 and the gear about the time we make that right hand turn to line up with the runway. Which, if you guys get the chance, I'll try and make a video on it when the weather's nicer. But if you guys ever get the chance and you want to fly a really short and fun visual approach, well, I guess just a whole visual flight in a 737 or whatever aircraft, fly Wrangell to Petersburg. It's really fun. I hand fly the whole thing, and it's a really good time to try and hand fly a 737. It's maybe a 15-minute flight from wheels up to wheels down,
2,500.
and you pretty much just follow this little river. Or yeah, I think this would be a river. Maybe it's just, I don't know what it would be actually. You follow this body of water north out of Wrangell and into Petersburg. It's really fun. I'd recommend it. It's a good time. So go ahead, drop flap. Ow, oh my gosh, that was hard. We'll go ahead, drop flaps 15 as we're coming up on the extended center line. Also go ahead and drop the landing gear as well. And we'll start kind of a slow right-hand turn as we're looking for the runway.
Caution, terrain.
Yep, I know, thank you.
Caution, terrain.
I am aware. So Petersburg is going to be somewhere right over here. I see the boats I normally line up with. So we're getting close. The runway should be pretty close to that ship that's right off of our nose above the altitude. That ship right there, runway should be in this general vicinity. Go ahead, drop flaps. I think that'd be 25 now. Still working on trying to get a visual contact with the runway. I know the general location of where it is. Now it's just a matter of trying to find it. Got to make sure we're watching our speed. There's flaps 30. And runway should be coming up off of our nose here any second as we complete this turn. Looks like there's going to be clouds just right on top of where we want to be, of course.
1,000.
Which, need to get our speed up. We're getting a little slow. So somewhere right to our right, just a little bit, is the runway, and it looks like it's right where those clouds are. Oh, I thought I saw it. I'm pretty sure I see it right there by that 3 on our flight path. Pretty sure I have a visual. So we'll go ahead and continue on. Yep, I see the runway for sure. For those of you at home that can't see it, it is right there. Where the mouse was pretty much right by our altitude numbers. And we're on glide. But we're going to be high, and now we're high. So let's start dropping now that we have a visual. Flaps are all the way down. Gears down. We are good to land. And it is also going to be a little soupy, but not as bad as last time. We do have a slight tailwind. This is pretty. I'd say I want to take a screenshot real quick. Oh, no. I hit the mouse. Sorry, guys.
500.
And I know from experience we do want to land pretty close to the, I guess the landing marks on the runway.
300.
Can't think of what it's called right now. It's not the threshold, but those big solid bars.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
It was a pretty good landing, if I don't say so myself. There's 60, so we'll kill reverse thrust. I'll let the airplane keep slowing itself down just a little bit longer, but I'll drop it to a 1. And then I'll bring the speed brakes up before I forget. And drop them. Auto brakes kicked off, which is good, so we'll kill the auto brakes. And we'll bring the flaps up and taxi her into the ramp. So the aircraft is all set up for our flight to Juneau, and we have all the ground equipment removed, so we're going to go ahead and turn on those anti-collisions. Everything else can stay as is. Like I kind of talked about at our last airport, occasionally we run over some ground crew. This is going to be one of those days because they're not going to move for us, so we're going to let him know that we are ready to start engine number 2. We're going to say that he acknowledged that and said we are good to go. So number 2 is set to ground. N2 is alive. Climbing through 2. There's 5. 10. 15. 17 and a half. 19. Introduce fuel. And we're at 22 and a half. Now, as we wait for that to come alive, we're going to get autopilot set up. I already forgot our altitude we're going to climb to. 20,000 feet. So let's get 20,000 dialed in. There's 20,000. Let's go ahead and update that up here as well. 20,500. And then the airport elevation in Juneau is 25. We'll drop that down to 50. Engine 2 is started, so we'll let our ground crew guy know we're going to start engine number 1. He says we are good to go, so engine number 1 is coming online. N2 is alive as well. Now we're climbing through 2, 5, 10, 15, there's 19, introduce fuel, we're at 22.2 when I looked up, so we should be good to go there. Engine is coming alive. Let's see, anything else we need to set up? Anchorage center on 13.3.9. 13.3, I don't know why I said it that way. 133.9, I don't know what happened there. There we go. When we get into Juneau, you might hear another Alaska Airlines Flight 65. That's because we're running maybe 20 minutes behind the real world flight. So I did see it on a little nav map. It has already left Petersburg. So you'll probably see it as we start rolling. Now that the engines are alive, we'll go ahead and check our... Well, actually, before we check our flight controls, let's go ahead and flip the generators over to engine power. So they're set to engine power. Seatbelt signs go on. APU bleed can go off. APU can go off. Packs drop down to auto, with isolation set to auto as well. We'll verify the yaw damper is still on, and it is. Hop back into our seat. Propeats can come on. Flaps 1, 2, and 5. Now we'll check our flight controls. Full left rudder. Full right rudder. Full back on the yoke. Full forward. Full left. And full right. Flight controls are checked. They are good. Flight directors are on. Go ahead, set arm throttle, auto throttle, VNAV, and LNAV. That is good to go. We're going to flash our lights at the ramper, let them know that we are ready to get out of here. He's going to tell us, yep, I'm out of the way, so are all of my friends, and we are good to go. So kids, close your eyes, because we are going forward. Sorry if I was a little quiet. I didn't realize I accidentally hit the mic, little mic control that adjusts the sound of my voice. So it should sound normal now. Kids, I hope you closed your eyes, because that ramper completely moved out of our way. And he is no longer a problem. So we're going to let the flight attendants know that we're about to pull out onto the runway. And because of that, we'll go ahead and flip the landing lights to pulse. Taxi lights can go off. And we want our strobes to go on as well. We are still in TARA, which is okay with me. And we'll go ahead and get engine and wing anti-icing on, so we don't forget it like last time. But we won't talk about how last time we did it wrong. And now we get a long taxi down to the end of the runway and then a very tight turn to make, so I will talk to you guys once we're down there. Okay, so we are lined up and ready to go, so we're just going to verify that everything is good. So lights are set to pulse. We're going to leave the turn-offs off. Taxi lights are off. Logo lights are set to pulse. Strobes are on. Anti-collision on. Pumps are on. Anti-ice is on. So are all of those. We are good to go, so we're going to hold down the brakes. Bring the engines up to roughly 40%. Oh yeah, flap 5 and RTO selected as well. There's roughly 40% and engines are stabilized, so we'll go toga, wait for it to spool up, and release the brakes. Screaming down the runway, here we come.
Airspeed alive. 80 knots.
V1.
Rotate. V2. Positive rate of climb.
Gear up. And we'll let the airplane take us away. Alright, so here we come, flying into Juneau. We have full flaps. We never set our RTO.
2500.
We'll set it to 3. We're just passing our final approach fix, and if you can see ahead of us, we have a perfect view of the Juneau airport. And one of the things I think is really cool about this airport, if we hide the HUD, you can see the approach lighting actually curves with this 15-degree offset. So that's kind of fun. I enjoy that. I do like this approach into Juneau. I wish we could have had this kind of weather for Petersburg, because it would have been a wonderful flight. This is a super pretty area. Maybe one day I'll get to make it here in person. Sorry about that, guys. My mouse cord is underneath my joystick, so just had to get that moved out the way. And I'll just come down to this final waypoint, and then we'll kill the autopilot and the auto throttle and fly it in manually, because it is such a gorgeous day today in Juneau. Everything looks like it's pretty set up. We're maintaining VREF, flaps are set. Anti-skid is on, speed brakes are armed. We'll give the flight attendants one final heads up that we're about to land, and we should be good. So we're about 2 miles out. We'll just go ahead and end it now so that we can get rid of the airplane yelling at us. That is done, and now let's bring it in for a nice landing in Juneau. Let's try and make this our best landing we've had. Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. That's already a bad start to trying to make this the best landing that we've had. I never adjusted my throttles before I disconnected auto throttle. So let's get that flight path indicator down to the 3-degree mark. No, I can't remember the name of that airport, but this approach reminds me of that old... I know it's an Asian airport. I want to say it was in Hong Kong. I mean, obviously we don't have the like skyscrapers to just go soaring around, but just the fact we do this last-minute turn to actually land. Oh, someone is right now watching this screaming at me because that is probably their favorite airport, and I can't remember the name of it. It's just like it's on the tip of my tongue. But it's like an Asian airport. I want to say it was Hong Kong. I'm probably wrong. But you're coming in an approach very similar to this, but you end up like flying between skyscrapers and stuff. I remember watching videos of it. Oh, it's been years now. The airport's... Pretty sure the airport's closed and long gone. If you know what airport that is, go ahead and drop it down in the comments so I can go track down a video of it. Alright, so we're a little bit high as we come into Juneau. And, ooh, got a nice little bit of turbulence as we go over that ridge line. But now it's smoothed out again. That's kind of exciting. But I really just love this approach, how it turns right at the last minute. And now we're just going to kill the throttle. We're still a little bit high.
300.
I was hoping this would be a lot prettier than it's turning out to be, but we'll make it work. That's what we do.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
And touchdown. Get some reverse thrust in. There's 60 knots, so we'll kill reverse. We'll go ahead, get rid of that, and we'll turn off the anti-skid. Let's get the APU firing up. Taxi lights can come on. And there's going to be our taxiway back to the terminal. That was a decent landing. We'll go ahead and put this HUD away. We won't need it anymore today. And let's go ahead and get the spoilers removed and try not to miss our turn. One of the things I'm still trying to get used to this airplane is how it turns. To make sharp turns, you really have to slow it down. It's obviously significantly larger than the Kodiak, but it turns nothing like it. And that's something I'm trying very hard to get used to. So we got about 2 seconds before we need to focus on turning again. Let's see if we can get the lights turned off before then. And we did it. Now we need to make kind of a sharp turn. And we should meet up with the other Alaska Airlines Flight 65 that landed, I think, shortly before we actually came onto our approach. If you watch the descent down from the wing view, the ATC you can hear during that is actually from that Alaska Airlines Flight 65, as it landed on the opposite runway that we did. It did a visual approach into runway 26. And while we're thinking about it, let's go ahead and drop that down into just TA. That way ATC can see us driving down the taxiway. And our APU is online. Get the probe heat turned off. And let's head on over to the gate. Unfortunately, I will not be able to get that final leg to Anchorage done tonight. It is already 2:53 in the morning, and I do have work shortly. So we will unfortunately have to drag this out into yet another day. But that's okay. We will overcome and conquer. Hopefully we get some real nice weather. It's super nice here in Juneau, so hopefully we can get similar weather in Anchorage tomorrow when we do the final leg. So that way I can actually get this video, guys, edited and put it... Wow. The lighting really changed with that weather update. But hopefully I can get the final leg done tomorrow. So then on Tuesday, hopefully I can edit the whole video together. And then with my farm internet, since I live in the middle of nowhere on a farm, will probably take forever to actually upload it to YouTube, because I'm guessing, as of right now, this is probably going to be close to a 2-hour-long video. But it's probably going to take most of a day to upload this. And we'll see how that actually turns out. But I do have some other really exciting videos in the works. And by in the works, I mean they are planned. They are written on a sheet of paper on my desk. And I am super excited to get those videos out for you guys. Oh no. So our ground crew is right there at that gate. And I learned last time that jet bridge doesn't like me. So we will not be parking at the gate where the ground crew is actually waiting for us. We're going to go to a different gate, and I'm not sure which one we're going to just go ahead and claim for ourselves. Oh, let's watch out for that van. See, ground crew's right there waiting for us, but we're going to go over... Yeah, we're going to take this one on the far left. Ground crew is going to be like, what the heck are you doing, guy? You're supposed to come over here. We're just standing out here in the cold waiting for you. But I am sitting in a nice toasty jet. Oh, that was too hard on the brakes. Sorry. Sorry, passengers and flight attendants. Well, we're waiting for the ground crew to walk over, right? That one ramper's just staring at us like, what are you doing, guy? You're supposed to park over here. And he's going to walk away like he doesn't see us. Works for me. Then we can't get accused of running over any more rampers. And let's try and just get a little more lined up. I think that should be good. I think that'll get us pretty close. And let's see, so that line was right about the top of that arc. Let's try and line this up to the best of our abilities. I'm going to say right about there. Using my best judgment, so now we're going to go ahead, set the parking brake. See, our APU should be online, so we're going to go ahead and flip that on. Kill the packs. APU bleed, isolation valve to open. Shut down the engines. Kill that. Taxi light can go off. Wait for the engines to spool down some more before we turn off the beacon. Let's go in here, menu, FSX actions, ground services. Now we need to switch that to jet bridge. And now we need to request our jet bridge, which we're waiting for chocks. Now we will request it. Let's see, it should start rolling in. Request. Oh no. Our jet bridge. What if we go through the pushback toolbar? Jetway. Okay. Well, I guess the jet bridge here in Juneau just doesn't like us, so... You know, we're just gonna say that, you know, stuff happens, jet bridges break, so we're gonna go ahead and switch back to stairs. Request both stairs 1 and stairs 2 for our passengers to get off. 0. We want to unload all the cargo here in Juneau. Let's get all of our ground services en route. We will go ahead and request that ground power. And then we're also going to request basic services and a fuel truck because we have to go to Anchorage. And now I'm going to get everything else set up and I will talk to you guys when we're ready to head out. Alright, so after those couple hops over from Wrangell and Petersburg, we decided to come to the terminal while we waited for the ground crew to move us over to gate number 5. If you remember, when we landed, our jet bridge was broken, so we asked the ground crew to do us a favor and move us to a gate with a working jet bridge. So with that, I went ahead and got a drink, but now we're going to go ahead and go back to the airplane, get everything set up, and I'm going to fast forward through that for all you people so you don't have to sit there and just watch me type things in. But I'll talk with you guys probably when we get down to the runway. Okay, so here we are, ready for a pushback from Juneau. We got everything set up, so let's go ahead and call the ground
Cockpit to
crew.
ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
We'll also get this guy's page set up. Doors are closed. FMC and progress. So for today's flight up to Anchorage, from Juneau. We're looking at 500 and that's not nautical miles, is it? I think that is. Yeah, 533 nautical miles. That sounds pretty accurate. And it shouldn't take us too long. I think maybe
Okay,
an
sir.
hour and a
The
half.
bypass
It'll
pin
be a
is
pretty
installed.
decent flight.
All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
And my favorite
Parking
part,
brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
see if the nose lifts up. Oh, the nose isn't lifting. That's
We are
my
cleared
favorite
for
part.
start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Parking brakes are released.
No, they're not.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
There we go. Now they're released. I don't know what happened there. Let's get systems up and we can start number 2. So ground. Then like normal, we're looking for 20 on the N2. There we are going through 2. There's 10. 15. 18. There's 19 and it'll be well past 20 by the time we introduce fuel. 22, almost 23 when I looked up. And there's no other airplanes here. That's kind of sad. We're the only jet. Oh well. We don't use air traffic control, so that just means we don't have to wait for takeoff, right? Yeah, then on today's flight, our optimal flight level is right about 37,000, but since we're going to west, we got to fly at an even number. So we're going to be flying at 36,000 for today's flight. And this is the final leg of Alaska Airlines Flight 65.
Okay, pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
So our
Parking
3-day
brake set.
journey is about to
Parking brake
conclude.
set. Lower
And then we'll
aircraft.
have to move on to other things. Which, I'm not sure what those other things are right
Ground,
now.
you
I
may
have
disconnect.
a bunch of things
Okay, sir. Clear to
written down on a
disconnect.
legal
Pin
pad
has
at
been
my
removed.
desk of
See you
videos
at the side.
I
Have a good
want to
flight.
make.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
I have a bunch of things written down on my legal pad of videos I want to make. I just don't know which ones I want to make, I guess. So now we get number 1 starting. We're going up through 4. There's 8. 12. 17 and a half. There's 19. And we'll introduce fuel. Looking up, we're at 22.1. So we were definitely above 20 when we fired up the engine. And there goes our fancy pushback tug. Goodbye, tug. I don't know why, but at this Juneau airport, this is the only gate where the jet bridge seems to like me. Because last time we parked way on the other side of the building, at that one, and it didn't work. I've parked there, and it hasn't worked. This is the only other gate I haven't tried. But so far, the gates here don't like me. Oh, I never programmed this. That should be 36,000. That way we don't have any pressurization issues. And number 1 is started, so let's go ahead, flip the power over to the engine generators. We'll get the APU shut off, so kill the bleed, kill the APU. That'll wind down, and let's get the probes to on. Let's make sure the yaw damp is still on, and it is. So now we'll give flaps 5, so 1, 2, and 5. And then moving down to a flight control check. Full left rudder. Full right rudder. Full back pressure. Full forward pressure. Full left. And full right. So flight controls are good. And then, let's see, we got pretty much everything else set up. So let's get the auto throttle armed. VNAV and LNAV. 3 greens, that's good. Gear is still down. Flight directors are on. Everything else is set up, so let's flip us into TARA. We are monitoring the tower channel. Even though we're not going to use it, because like normal, we are our own air traffic control. So taxi lights can come on. And that should be everything. I know I'm... Oh, PAKs. There we go. I know I was forgetting something. PAKs on, isolation valve to auto. That's what I was forgetting. So now I'm going to go ahead and taxi down to the runway, and I'll see you guys for takeoff. So here we are, lined up on runway 8. We did verify it with the number painted on the runway as we rolled over top of it. Also, looking at our heading, we're at 086, so that is good to go. Everything's good there. I don't think we're going to need our anti-icing on. If we do, we'll fix that as we need it. And so now let's go ahead and bring the engines up to 40%. Let everything stabilize, just do one more quick check. Everything looks good. Engines are stabilizing right about 40%, so we'll put it in toga. And we will take our feet off the brakes. And we'll get rolling. Airspeed is alive.
80 knots.
V1.
Rotate. E2. Positive rate of climb.
The autopilot's pushing us kind of close to this terrain, if you ask me. It just seems very close. But it's not yelling at us, so... see how it comes with this next hill.
Caution, terrain.
There we go, now it's yelling at us. We're gonna clear it. I'll let you guys enjoy the views cruising out of Juneau, and I will talk with you up in cruise. Well, hello again, everyone. For the probably 5 of you that'll watch this portion of the video, I am an idiot. I was cruising along, talking to myself, while I was filming the cruise part of the flight, where I said I was going to chat with you guys while we were cruising. And then I went to go switch over to the wing view for the descent like I did the rest of the video. And I realized I was just talking to myself. I never hit the record button, and it's kind of hard to talk to you guys if I'm not recording. So, I had a nice conversation with myself. And I guess will remain that way for the rest of time. But I decided instead of doing the wing view for landing, we could go ahead, hang out, talk, and just kind of sit back, relax, and enjoy the conclusion to our mini-series that will be nice and wrapped up into one very long video. So I hope you guys had something like nice to eat or something while you watch this video. I have no clue how long this is, obviously, as I'm still filming it. But I'm thinking it's probably going to be close to 2 hours, which, since I live on a farm and I have really terrible internet, I guess I shouldn't say terrible. It could be a lot worse. I have decent internet, I guess. And that's why I do this in the middle of the night, because it's decent internet, but it's not that great. Because I live on a farm, and farm internet is farm internet. I get a whole 20 megabits a second on a good day, and that's my download speed. My upload speeds are anywhere between less than a megabit and the highest I've ever seen, and it's only been on an internet test, never on an upload. The highest I've ever seen is 5 megabits a second, which for me is actually pretty good. I don't know what some of you folks out in the city can do. My old roommate, I talked with him, and he lives in a very populated portion of Idaho. You guys can probably figure that one out. And he's moving out to, I guess, a suburb. And he was telling me how he's going to lose his, like, super fast internet. I don't even know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's like a gigabyte, like a second. It's something outrageous. In my entire life, my fastest internet has been like 20, 40 megabits. I don't even think I've ever had 40 megabits a second. It's been probably 20, maybe 30. So for me, just trying to even comprehend how fast that is, like his upload speeds, I think, are like 50 megabits, probably even higher, actually. I'm not even sure what his upload speed is. It's like, man, I can't even comprehend how fast it is. For me, when people say they have 100 megabits a second, that's fast. To me, that just blows my mind. I can't even imagine what it's like to operate on that fast of internet. And so, this video will probably take a while to upload. Today is currently February 28th of 2023. And I will have to... I'll probably edit this on the 28th. We'll see if it gets done on the 28th. It might stretch into the 29th. But then I gotta plan it around the schedule for when I can get decent internet access to actually upload this to the YouTube. So we'll see when this finally reaches you guys. I don't know how many of you would be interested, but maybe, just maybe, we could get a stream going one day. It would have to be in the wee hours of the morning, like right now, so 1 a.m., and that's mountain time. So what would that be, like 3, 4 in the morning Eastern, midnight if you're on the West Coast, and I don't even know what that'd be if, say, you're in Hawaii. If you're in New Zealand, I know it's the daytime. But that's about all I know for time zones. Maybe we could do a stream one day and we could like chat or something. I've never tried streaming, so I don't know how well that would work. But maybe it's something we could give a try later on in the future. And I kind of touched on it earlier, but I have a lot of great ideas for this channel. I will say, my most recent video, which I'll slap up here in this top right corner if I can find this moment in time when I edit the video and can remember to put it here. I am very pleasantly surprised at how well that video has performed. When I saw World Update 12 came out and they released the Caribou and NZA released the Christchurch Airport, I was like, oh, I should make a video on this so that way, you know, people like me don't have to wonder what it's like. They can, you know, take a look at it. And I'm pretty sure I was the first person on YouTube to have it, which was kind of my goal. And at the time of recording, which it's February 28th, this video posted on February 24th. gotten 3,800 views on it. And like 100 and something likes. What is that? 112 likes. My previous best video was my Kodiak tutorial. And this one's almost caught up to that Kodiak tutorial in 4 days. And that's other video's been out for I think like 6 months. So I was very pleasantly surprised that it was very well received. So I did enjoy one person's comment in all caps, "Why so many vans?" Because that was my exact thought when I was taxiing down the taxiways. Why are there so many vans in the Christchurch airport? But that appears to be something on my end that I need to go play with and try and fix. And it might help, like when we left Juneau, we totally wiped out that van. But overall, I'm very happy with how that video performed. I wish my frame rates would have been better, but I am running on a 2018 gaming laptop, so it's a little outdated. It's got a... I say it's outdated, but it still runs this game very well. It's got a GTX 2070 in it, the 2070 Max Q, because it's a laptop. And so I'm super excited for my gaming computer, which I am actually in the process of building, which I've never built a computer before, so I'm super excited for that. Let's go ahead and try and get our ATIS. It doesn't look like we can pick it up, because COM1, COM2's on. We're not going to pick it up. Well, in that case, we'll do it the easy way. B. There we go. B button always works if nothing else does. Yeah, I've never built a gaming computer before, so I'm super excited. I have it all like spec'd out, and it's going to be a beast. I'm going to put the latest and greatest technology in it. I recently ordered the motherboard, which should show up like any day now. And I'm ordering it one piece per paycheck. So in about another week, I can order my next part, which is the processor. And the processor I'm going to get is the Intel i7 13700, I believe it is. And yeah, I want to say it's the 13700. But it's really good. It actually outspecs the i9. That's the 13900, I think it is. It actually outperforms. The i7 is ranked like 4th in speed versus that i9 is ranked, I want to say, 7th. So I'm super excited for that. I don't know how much the CPU actually makes a difference in terms of gaming. I know the graphics card is really where it comes in to get better performance. And I'm hoping, obviously it'll see how much prices change by the time I get in the graphics card, because that'll be the last thing I buy. But I'm hoping to get a 4070 or a 4080. But they are spendy. Very spendy. And I am self-financed, so... And I'm doing everything with cash. I'm not like putting it on a credit card or financing it over 6 months. I'm buying it all with cash, so... I'm just waiting until... Just doing it one paycheck at a time, because that seems to be the responsible thing to do. And, you know, trying to be a responsible adult as like I save up to buy a house and these other things, so... When I talked with the bank about mortgages, they were like, yeah, man, don't put things on credit. Made it very clear, because I have been just aggressively paying off a bunch of things, but now I'm actually focusing on saving, but I still want to get a desktop computer. I've always wanted a gaming desktop. So I'm going to build it, that way I can just buy it piece by piece, and it's going to take a couple months, because I am limiting myself to one piece per paycheck. But I am super excited to actually start getting the parts and being able to put it together and, I guess, see the fruits of my labor, you could call it. Otherwise, there's not a lot of super exciting news in the world of the flying photographs in Tyler. You know, we're just sitting back, relaxing, doing some YouTube. If you're curious, I'm still hitting the gym. I'm still meeting my goals. I've actually changed. I was going like 5 days a week, and ultimately I wanted to reduce down to 3 days a week. And I'm doing that. I'm actually changing days, so I'm in between schedules. I was going on the weekend when I didn't have work, but then that interferes with like making videos, because for the most part I don't like to make these videos when I have work, because it just I will spend like all night on this game and not even realize it until I'm like, man, I should really think about sleeping. And then next thing you know, it's 4 in the morning and I gotta go to work, and I don't think my big employer would like it if I keep showing up to work tired. But so I am switching it up so that way I play games on my days off, and then I go to the gym on the days that I work. And so I'm in the process of switching that around. So I went once this weekend on my days off. I was gonna go on a different day, but then I got up there. I actually had to go and do a little bit of work after hours. And so I went, took care of that, and then I drove by the gym. And you know, after just hanging out all day, doing a little bit of work, I saw there's a bunch of cars at the gym, and I was like, you know, I could just go home. I kind of want to just go home and not be here around a bunch of people. So that is what I decided to do. But we're working out. I don't know if I'm really making too much progress in like gaining muscle, but I've definitely lost some weight since I started working out in October, which is good. That's part of what I wanted to do. Granted, I never really cared about how much I weighed, because, you know, the number changes so much depending on how much muscle you have. Your weight matters, so it changes so easily. So I've never cared about what exactly the scale says my weight is. I just cared about, I guess, my personal opinion of how I look. And I'm not looking to be like a fashion model. I'm just looking, you know, to be in shape so that way when like my kid's older, I can, I guess, still do fun things, be active, not be like, oh man, my back hurts so we can't go to the park. You know, I want to be in good shape for the future. So that's the main goal. So I'd like to, I'm not looking to be like a fashion model. I'm not even looking for like six-pack abs. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at, but I'd like to just build some more muscle. I don't know if any of that makes any sense. Sometimes articulating is not my best skill. I like to talk, and I will talk myself out of decent articulation. I'm sure my returning viewers have noticed that. I can talk for a while, and then I will just get going down the rabbit hole. So we are coming up on Anchorage. It is right there. We are coming in for runway 7, which I forget which one. That should be approach that we're tuned into, but we're not hearing no one. What does this say? It says we're in Anchorage 18.6. Okay. I guess there's just no one around us, which I find weird, because when I checked the little nav map, there were definitely people around us. Then just going over our before landing stuff, we'll let the flight attendants know we're coming in to land. Everything else is looking pretty good up top. Yeah, can't complain too much there. Got auto brake set. We do need to set our speed brakes. Speed brakes are set. And we're coming in through 235. We're gonna decel soon. I don't know if I should start putting in flaps or not, because we're gonna decel. I think to 210 is our speed requirement up here, if I remember right. Yeah, 210 at Andy. Yeah, we'll go flaps 5 once we make this left-hand turn. Yeah, so not a whole lot of new and exciting stuff going on in the world of Tyler. You know, just still trying to keep up with my 3 days a week at the gym. Just working, you know, plugging away, trying to be a decent employee so I can keep getting paid, because I need to get paid to buy a house. The bank kind of likes that. And I also need to get paid to build a new computer, so trying to be a good employee, trying to make videos for you guys, which I was looking back at my content, and I've been really good about posting recently. Hopefully we don't blow that. I'm going to do my best to keep posting videos. My ultimate goal is to make 3 videos a week. I don't think we're actually going to achieve that goal anytime soon. But for those of you that are watching, why don't you go ahead and put in the comments, how are you? I'd love to hear how you guys are. Get back to you, you know, kind of develop this, instead of just you guys sitting here watching me. You know, I'd like to have this nice little community where we could all be, I guess, like pen pals, but on YouTube. I mean, I guess we could be pen pals too. And flaps 5, 1, 2, and 5 before I forget. but, you know, have this nice little community on the flying photographs. Where, you know, we can all be friends and be friendly with each other. And just, you know, have a good time, talk about flight sim, talk about being av geeks, being nerds. We don't even have to talk about aviation. I like other things too. But how are you guys? How are you? If you can just drop down in the comments, shoot. I don't know if you can do messages on here or not, but, you know, send me a message. Let's talk. Let's see how things are going in your guys' life. Maybe we can make a podcast one day. That'd be kind of fun. I've always wanted to do a podcast. But I feel like if I did a podcast, I would need like a co-host. I mean, I could do without a co-host. Bill Burr does it, but I don't know if I'd be that entertaining to just talk to myself for an hour. But I guess here I am talking to myself, to you guys, just about life. Maybe I am like Bill Burr's podcast, but I make videos. But he does videos sometimes for the Thursday after Monday morning podcast. No, it's the Thursday before Monday morning podcast. I don't know. I don't know where I fall on this now. We've now reached a dilemma, and we are not maintaining our 210. Oh well. We'll slow down the traffic. It's flight sim. We don't have to exactly abide by all the rules, right? Yeah, so I hope all of you guys are doing really well. I'd love to hear from you guys, you know, chat with you. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. This is something a lot different that I've done, and if you guys like it, why does that say go around? I don't know why that says go around, but it does. But I hope you guys like it. If you do, and depending on how well this is received, I do have a couple more plans for videos like this. They will not be more milk runs. The ones I'm eyeballing is an Allegiant Air flight from Pittsburgh to Melbourne, because I have some really great freeware sceneries for Pittsburgh and Melbourne. And also gives me a good use of that Phoenix A320. So let me know if that's one you're interested in. I'm also looking at doing the Alaska Airlines flight from Anchorage to, I believe it's Maui. It's on a 737-800. Or is it Maui? I'm going to have to look it up again. I got it in here somewhere. Let me pop over to SimBrief while we have a second. Dashboard. It is Alaska Airlines Flight 841 from Anchorage to... let me try and get the phonetic alphabet right here. Papa Hotel Oscar Golf. Is that the Maui airport? I know it's in Hawaii. I think it's Maui. Please correct me down in the comments, so that way I know which airport it is. And I have a scenery for it, and I have a scenery for Anchorage. And I'm going to have a lot of free time up here in March where I can do some longer videos. So that's one of the ones I was thinking about maybe doing while I have the time available to actually record and get stuff out. Then I do also have the very long video that I have talked about on the channel for many videos now. And that is in the AnyBuilds A310. And it was going to be from Victorville all the way to Australia. We were going to simulate as if we were bringing an old Qantas A300, which obviously it's an A310. We don't have an A300 in the game yet. But we're going to recover it from the boneyard in Victorville and take it to Longreach, where the Qantas, I want to say it's the Qantas Founders Museum. I figure that would be a really fun trip, but it's going to be a long one. I'm going to have to record it over like 3 sessions, and honestly, we'll see how this computer holds up trying to run graphics for that long of 3 flights. I'm not sure, but we were going to give it a shot. So let me know what you guys think of those down in the comments. Mate, I would also love to hear suggestions from you guys. I have received 2 suggestions for I should check out the Honda Jet, and I should also check out the Vision Jet as well. And I have looked into the Honda Jet, so if that guy or gal, I forget which, for that person that suggested the Honda Jet, I did actually look into it, and I ultimately decided I'm going to wait for it to go on sale, and then once it goes on sale, I'll pick it up and we'll make a video on it. But for right now, there were other things I wanted to work on other than the Honda Jet. So I did get your feedback and I considered it. I am still considering it. The Vision Jet I have not looked into, so to the person that suggested the Vision Jet, it is on my list of things to look into, which, if you guys could see my list of things I need to look into, it is very, very lengthy. I have a lot of things on my plate. So I will get to it. It just will not be today or tomorrow. We're maybe looking a couple weeks out, but I'll get to it, look at it. And maybe it'll probably go in the same list as the Honda Jet, where I just am working on so many other things right now. It'll be when it's on sale would probably be the best time for me to pick it up. But I will look into it, I do promise you that. And if you guys drop any comments or suggestions down below, I will also look into them as well. And who knows, maybe it'll be something I actually have. Because I do have a decent collection of aircraft of both the freeware and the payware variety. Same with scenery, so if you see something that you like, want me to try out, shoot me a message. If you can message on YouTube, I don't know if you can. If not, drop a comment down below. I'm trying to think of how else you guys could really get a hold of me. I am on the Instagram as the Flying Photographs. That's my personal account. I haven't used it in a while, but I still have it installed on my phone. So if you shoot me like a DM on the Insta, I will get it. So I guess if you can't message on YouTube, you can shoot me a message on Insta. It's under the Flying Photograph, just like this. You know, maybe I should use that to, you know, like, support the channel. You know, put some channel related stuff on there. That might be kind of neat. And we'll go gear down and flaps 15. We're going to work on getting everything in as we come into final for runway 7. And we're using runway 7 left. There's 7 right, but we want that runway 7 left. Which I have never landed here. I have actually just loaded the airport once at the gate to make sure there wasn't any like blatantly big errors that were going to cause the game to crash right away. And I think we can go ahead and drop in flaps 25. Because our final approach fix is... I don't see it. Oh, it's an RNAV. I'm thinking, oh, that's the ILS. Where's our final approach fix? It's Webby. So we should be all set up by Webby, which is coming up really soon. I think we can just go ahead and drop flaps 40. We're going slow enough. We'll drop flaps 40 and let the airplane stabilize itself as we come into land. Looking at Anchorage, there's 7 right. There's runway 7 left, which is what we want. Let the airplane stabilize itself. And I think we can go ahead and close that. It is a gorgeous day in Anchorage. I kind of like this fog. Oh, look at the windmills. That's cool. Oh, neat. Yeah, it is a gorgeous day here in Anchorage. Where was this weather when we were going Wrangell to Petersburg? Because I would love to have hand-flowed that for you guys. I do still have the footage from my first go at this flight when I kept having the technical issues. And that one I was doing in the 737-600. So maybe I'll just have to post that as like a blooper. We can just post the whole thing as a blooper video. That way you guys can experience the pain of farm internet with me. Which if you watched my Caribou video, you experienced the pain of farm internet. But it's even worse when you're on short final, the pop-up pops up right in the middle of the screen and you can't control the airplane anymore. That's when that's really fun. But yeah, I know I'm kind of circling around the drain again, but if you guys have any suggestions for aircraft you want me to check out, scenery, mods for the game, drop something down in the comments, message me on YouTube if that's a thing, message me on the on Instagram, and yeah, we'll see what we can do. Maybe I should make a Facebook for the channel. That might be better instead of using my Instagram. Maybe we'll make a Facebook. That's one more thing I'll have to add to the list. Make a Facebook for the YouTube channel. That's something we could definitely do. And I could, you know, like post screenshots or something for you guys. Then I could really be a YouTuber, you know, do all the shameless plugs and be like, hey man, subscribe, like, check out my Facebook, follow us. You know, shameless plug. We don't have a Facebook though, so don't try looking for me on Facebook. And so now we are close enough to the airport and stabilized. Let's go ahead and let the airplane yell at us, so stand by. Clear those. And now let's get our throttles dropped back to roughly where they were. And now let's bring it in for hopefully a nice smooth landing. Looks like we got almost no wind, which is wonderful, so this should be nice. I'm starting to get used to the HUD. Originally, the HUD was very weird because I've never flown an aircraft in the game with one. Well, I guess that's not true. I've goofed around with the fighter jets. Mainly that one that DC designs. I think it was DC designs. But that FA-18 that came out as freeware, I've messed around with that. So I guess I have kind of messed around with planes using HUDs. Normally, when I fly the 737-600, I run it as if it was a classic. So we don't use the HUD in it because I don't think the classic ever had HUDs.
300.
If they were, I'm sure someone probably retrofitted a classic to have a HUD. This is pretty. I like the fact we're just going over these trees here. That's cool. Let's bring the speed back just a little bit. There's 100.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And we are floating. That's okay, we got a lot of runway. We can burn it. You know, we paid for the whole runway. We will use the whole runway. Keep that reverse on. I love the mountains right in front of us, and I love how they just have that like fog around them. That's really nice. I enjoy flying with live weather. Sometimes it's unfortunate for us, like, you know, when we wanted to do that visual flight from Petersburg, from Wrangell to Petersburg, but times like this, live weather is just absolutely wonderful. And in case you didn't know, unless I say otherwise, all my videos are flown with live weather. Because that's the way I like it. We do not fly with... Oh boy, what was that about? I don't even know what it was yelling at me for there. If anyone knows why it just yelled at me, please let me know. Because it should not have been for the FMC reset. Alright, and now we get the joy of trying to find where on earth we need to go park this aircraft at. And I don't see anyone around, so we'll go ahead and start turning right and get this APU fired up. And I also need to get my strobes off. I don't know. Trying to do too many things at once. Let's not drive off the taxiway. And we can also get... Oh, shoot. Let's just calm down. Do one thing at a time. So, alright. So now we gotta try and find the little rampies that say, hey, park here, dummy. Oh, look, some DC-3s. That's cool. Love the fact there's some DC-3s right there. There's some more vans, because we did not see enough of those in New Zealand last video. And oh my gosh, the vans are back. There's 4 of them now. We've now seen 4 vans because we had that one. There's 2. There's one way down there. It's still not as bad as Christchurch though. Christchurch, man. I think there were more vans than sheep. And there were already a lot of sheep in Christchurch. Let's see, so APU's fired up. All this is looking good. Let's get the... we'll wait to turn the bleed on until we get to the gate. Let's keep looking for... There's a guy. But I don't think he's there for us. First, let's look for a pushback tug. That would be a good indicator of where we want to go. And we're drifting off to the right because we're looking around, just being goofs. Okay, there's a guy, but he's got his arms crossed. He's not trying to flag us down. And there's no pushback tug. Okay, let's see. Where do we want to go? We want to go somewhere. This is nice. I wonder what kind of planes park here. Is this where like Q400s would park? Is this the regional jet parking of Anchorage? I guess the Q400 is not a regional jet. You know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. Is that where the regional aircraft park? Which it's so sad. The majestic Q400 is gone. Alaska Airlines got rid of them. I will greatly miss those. Having once worked for Horizon. And, you know, just flying on them all the time out of where I live to go to Seattle and go to Portland. Those little Q400s have a special place in my heart, and it's really sad that they're gone now. Oh, that might be our gate. I think I might see it. So I am definitely going to miss those little guys. I wish they could have lived on with Alaska. But, you know, I guess jets have to take over eventually, right? They had a good life. I'm going to go with this as our gate. Just because it looks like there's a guy waiting to flag us down. But now, where do we start pulling in to meet up with our guy? Oh, I greatly messed this one up now, didn't I? Yep, we really drove right past this one. Oh, okay. I see him now. We were going the right way. Let's spin in a circle. Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. We'll just pretend this didn't happen. We'll get back on that taxiway and pretend this never happened. You guys did not see me just spin in a circle because I couldn't tell where we needed to go. I love all the cargo 7.4s that are here. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, so we want to come down here. This is our gate, and I'm sure there's at least one of you guys at home that were yelling at me, "What are you doing, Tyler? You need to go one more gate forward. Don't be a dum-dum." And oh my gosh, the yellow vans are back. Let's get out of here before we take out any more vans. Okay, so here we go. I can't... Okay, little Rampy says go this way. Rampy says go forward. He probably also says, hey, stop blinding me with your taxi lights. Alright, let's zoom in so we can get a better look at our Rampy here at B8. Bringing us in. Bringing us in. Where will he tell us to stop? Alright. And stop. We are stopped, so we'll go ahead and pop the parking brake. And before I forget, let's hit the generators to the APU. Kill the engines. Hop over here, get it set up for... Actually, it should already be set up for jet bridge mode. So FSX actions, ground services, set chocks, request jet bridge. And it works. Beautiful. Now we'll go ahead, kill the anti-collision, because it should be good to go. Seatbelts to auto so everyone can race off the airplane. And let's see, get our probes off. Window heats can stay on for the next crew. Packs can go off. Isolation to open. APU bleed on. And we'll turn off all the pumps except for the one that powers our APU. We will go ahead and request the ground power. Coming in here, we'll also open up our door since we are connected to the jet bridge. We need potable water, lavatory. Get a fuel truck for the new crew as well. Get everyone fighting their way off the airplane like it's Black Friday. Then we want to request all of our luggage to be removed. Then let's see here. So we are deplaning, so now I just need to wait to get everyone off. And we also have external power, so we'll go ahead and flip power over to that. Kill the APU bleed, because we're going to shut it off. And kill the APU. which because of that, and it's a little chilly out, we will go ahead and request our, where is it, air conditioning. And we'll see if we can get the forward and rear galleys taken care of as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get everything unloaded, and I will catch back up with you guys on the ramp. Hello everybody. If you have seen one of my videos before, you know this is the time where I have to sign off and thank all of you guys for being here today. And this video is no different, so I would like to thank each and every one of you for watching this video, whether you watched 15 seconds because YouTube was like, hey man, check this out, and you were just like, okay. Or who knows, maybe you were just like asleep and viewed this video and you just happened to now wake up because you're like, what on earth am I watching? Or maybe you actually chose to be here. No matter how we got here together, I am glad we had the opportunity to come here and, you know, sit around the video screen and, you know, just, I guess, relate to each other on some weird, distant, fundamental level. I'm really glad we had this opportunity together. And with that, I've already told you thank you, and I really do mean it when I do say thank you, and that I appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. This channel would not be where it is today if it wasn't for all of you wonderful, amazing people. And let me know what you guys think of this kind of video where, you know, we do like the milk run. Maybe we can do something like this in the Kodiak. Go find a different milk run. Like, you know, do one of the ones leaving Anchorage that goes to Cordova, Yakutat, etc. Maybe we go do one somewhere else in the world. We'll just go find something else. But let me know what you think of this style of video where we do, like, in this case, 5 flights in one really long video. Or do you guys like the single videos? Like, should have just done Seattle, Ketchikan, and then broken up all the other ones into their own little tiny video. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear that kind of feedback down in the comments below. Once again, if you want to know about any of the add-ons I use in any of my videos, scroll down to that description box, click read more, or I think it's see more now actually. Click see more, scroll down past all the timestamps, and then down there I break it up by payware and freeware. You can see every modification that I use in that video. And I try my best to put a link in there so that way you can find it too. And also, I'd love to hear if you guys have any suggestions. I have received suggestions in the past for the Honda Jet and also for the Cirrus Vision. If you guys have any other suggestions for aircraft, whether that's payware, freeware, scenery that's payware, freeware, let me know down below. If you guys think of any flights you want me to do, like something specific to the Kodiak, specific to the 737. Say there's a real world airline flight, like, I don't know, airline XYZ flight number 65 you think you might want me to check out. Let me know down below. I'll look into it and maybe we can make a video on it. I'd like to develop this channel from just a channel where you sit and watch me to, you know, we get this nice little community. We could all be little YouTube pen pals and friends and just have a nice little community where we can geek out about airplanes. We can talk about, you know, just stuff going on and just be friendly with each other. Keep everyone positive and, you know, try and be the happy person in someone's life. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and end this video because it is already long enough. And I have a lot of editing to do when I get up later today. So with that, that is all she wrote, and I'm going to be signing off. Until next time, you amazing people stay wonderful, and I will see you soon.